I learn in this letter that Don Pedro of Aragon comes this night to Messina.
He's here by us. It's not really exalted, I like.
How many gentlemen have you lost in this action?
Feel very sorry.
Victory is twice itself, and the achiever brings home full numbers. I find here that Don Pedro hath bestowed much honor on a young Florentine called Claudio.
Much deserved on his part, and equally remembered by Don Pedro. He hath borne himself beyond the promise of stage, showing in the figure of a lamb and the feats of a lion. He hath indeed better vetted expectations than you must expect of me, to tell you about.
He hath an uncle here in Messina will be very much glad of it.
I have hearted and limited letters, and there appears much joy in him. Even so much that joy cannot show itself modest enough without a badge of bitterness.
Did he break out into tears?
In great measure.
A kind overflow of kindness. There are no faces truer than those who are so washed. How much better is it to weep at joy than to joy at weeping?
I pray you, is Signor Montanto returned from the wars or no?
I know none of that, young lady. There was none such in the army of any sort.
What is he that you ask for, Elise?
My cousin means Signor Benedict of Padua.
Oh, he's returned, and as pleasant as ever he was.
He set up his bills here in Messina and challenged Cupid at the flight, and my uncle's fool, reading the challenge, subscribed for Cupid and challenged him at the bird bolt. I pray you, how many have he killed and eaten in these wars, but how many have he killed, for indeed I promise to eat all of his killing.
Faith, Elise, you tax Signor Benedict too much. But he'll be mead with you, I doubt it not.
He has done good service, lady, in these wars.
He hath an excellent stomach. You had musty victual, he hath hope to eat it. He's a very valiant Frenchman.
And a good soldier, too, lady.
And a good soldier to a lady, but what is he to a lord?
A lord to a lord, and man to a man, all stuffed with honorable virtues.
It is so indeed. He is no less than a stuffed man, but for the stuffing, well, all mortal.
You must not, sir, mistake my niece. There's a kind of merry war betwixt Signor Benedict and her. They never meet, but there's a skirmish of wit between them.
Alas, he gets nothing by that. In our last conflict, 4 of his 5 wits went halting off, and now is the whole man governed with 1. So that if he have wit enough to keep himself warm, let him bear it for a difference between himself and his horse. For it is all the wealth that he hath left to be known a reasonable creature. Who is his companion now? He hath every month a new sworn brother.
Is it possible?
Very easily possible. He wears his faith, but it's the fashion of his hat. It never changes with the next block.
I take it, lady, that gentleman is not your books.
No, and he were, I would burn my study. But I pray you, who is his companion now? Is there no young squarer who will make a voyage with him to the devil?
He is most in the company of the right noble Claudio.
Oh, Lord, he will hang upon him like a disease. He has sooner caught the pestilence, and the taker runs presently mad. If he have caught the Benedict, it will cost him £1,000 ere he be cured.
I will hold friends with you, lady.
Do, good friend.
You will never run mad, Elise.
No, not till a hot January.
Don Pedro's approach.
Good Signor Leonardo, are you come to meet your trouble? The fashion of the world is to avoid cost, and you encounter it.
Never came trouble to my house in the likeness of your grace. For, trouble being gone, comfort should remain, but when you depart from me, sorrow abides and happiness takes his leave.
You embrace your charge too willingly. I think this is your daughter.
Her mother hath many times told me so.
Did you doubt her, sir, that you asked?
Signor Benedict, no, for then were you a child.
You have it full, Benedict. We may guess by this what you are, being a man. Truly, the lady fathers herself. Be happy, lady, for you are like an honorable father. If Signor Leonato be her father, she would not have his head on her shoulders, for all Messina is like him as she is.
I wonder that you will still be talking, Signor Benedict. Nobody marks you.
What, my dear lady, disdain her, you yet live.
Is it possible disdain should die while she hath such meat food to feed it as Signor Benedict? Courtesy itself must convert to disdain if you come in her presence.
Why then is courtesy turned? For it's certain I am loved of all ladies, only you excepted. And I would find it in my heart that I had not a hard heart, for truly I love none.
A dear happiness to women. They would else have been troubled with a pernicious suitor. I thank God in my cold blood I have your humor for that. I had rather hear my dog bark at a crow than a man swear he loves me.
Oh God, keep your ladyship still in that mind, so some gentleman or other shall escape a predestinate scratched face.
Scratching could not make it worse than for such a face as yours were.
You're a rare caricature.
A bird of my tongue is better than a beast of yours.
Lord, my horse at the speed of your tongue, so good at continuing. But keep your way, in God's name I've done.
You always end with a jaded trick. I know you of old.
That is the sum of all, Leonardo. Signor Claudio and Signor Benedict.
My dear friend Leonardo hath invited you all. I tell him we shall stay here at the least a month, and he hardly prays some occasion may detain us longer. I dare swear he is no hypocrite, but prays from his heart.
If you swear, my lord, you shall not be forsworn. Let me bid you welcome, my lord. Being reconciled to the prince your brother, I owe you all due.
I thank you. I have not many words, but I thank you.
Please did your grace lead on.
Your hand, Leonardo. We will go together.
Benedict! Didst thou note the daughter of Signor Leonardo? I noted her not, but I looked on her. Oh, is she not a modest young lady? Do you question me as an honest man should do for my simple, true judgment? Or would you have me speak after my customs, a professed tyrant of their sex?
No, I pray thee, speak in sober judgment.
Methinks she's too low for a high praise, too warm for cold praise, and too little for a great praise. Only this commendation I can afford her, that were she other than she is, she were unhandsome, and being no other than as she is, I do not like her.
Thou thinkest I am in sport. I pray thee tell me truly how thou likest her.
Would you buy her that you inquire after her?
Can the world buy such a jewel?
Yea, in case to put it into. But come, speak to this with a sad brow, or do you play the flouting jack to tell us Cupid is a good hair finder and Vulcan a rare carpenter? Come, in what key shall man take you to go into song?
In mine eye she is the sweetest lady that ever I looked on.
I can see yet without spectacles, and I see no such matter. Look, there's her cousin, and she were not possessed with a fury, exceeds her as much in beauty as the 1st of May doth the last of December. And I hope you have no intent to turn husband, have you?
I would scarce trust myself, though I had sworn the contrary, if Hero would be my wife.
Is't come to this? Hath not the world one man, but he'll bear his cap with suspicion? Shall I never see a bachelor of 80 again? Well, go to in faith, and thou wilt needs thrust thy neck into a yoke, wear the print of it in sigh-away Sundays. But look, Don Pedro is returned to seek you.
What secret hath held you here that you followed not to Leonardo's?
I would your grace would constrain me to tell you.
I charge thee on thy allegiance.
You hear, Claudio? I can be as secret as a dumb man. I would have you think so, but on my allegiance, mark you this, on my allegiance, he is in love. With whom? That's your grace's part. Mark you how short his answer is. With Hero, Leonardo's short daughter.
If it were so were it uttered.
Like the old tale, my lord, it is not so, nor 'twas not so, but indeed, God forbid should be so.
If my passion change not shortly, God forbid it should be otherwise.
Amen, if you love her. For the lady is very well worthy.
Oh, you say this to fetch me in, my lord.
By my troth, I speak my thought.
And in faith, my lord, I spoke mine.
By my 2 faiths and troths, my lord, I spoke mine.
That I love her, I feel.
That she is worthy, I know.
But I neither see how she should be loved, nor feel how she should be worthy, as the opinion that fire cannot melt out of me. I'll die in it with the stake.
That was ever an obstinate heretic that spite of beauty.
And never could maintain his part but in the force of his will.
That a woman conceived me, I thank her. That she brought me up, I likewise give her most humble thanks. But that I will have her cheek winded in my forehead, or hang my bugle in invisible baldric, all women shall pardon me. Because I will not do them the wrong to mistrust any, I will do myself the right to trust none. And the fine is, for which I may go the finer, I will live a bachelor.
I shall see thee ere I die. Look pale with love.
With anger, with sickness, or with hunger, my lord, not with love. Prove that ever I lose more blood with love than I will get again with drinking. Pluck out mine eye for the ballad maker's pen, and hang me at the door to the brothel house for the sign of blind Cupid.
Well, if ever thou dost fall from this faith, thou wilt prove a notable argument.
And I do. Stuffed in a bottle like a cat, hang me in a tree, and have men shoot it. And he that hits me, let him be clapped on the back and called to Adam.
Well, as time shall try, in time the savage bull doth bear the oak.
The savage bull may, but if ever the sensible Benedict bear it, pluck the bull's horns out and place them in my forehead. Let me be vilely painted in such brave letters as they write, "Here is good horse for hire." Let them signify under my sign, "Here you may see Benedict." The married man. If this should ever happen, thou wouldst be horn mad.
Nay, if Cupid have not spent all his quiver in Venice, thou wilt quake for the short.
I look for an earthquake too then.
Well, you will temporize with the hours. In the meantime, good Signor Benedict, repair to Leonardo's. Commend me to him and tell him I will not fail him in succor. For indeed, he hath made great preparation.
I have almost matter enough in me for such an embassage, and so I commit you
To the tuition of God from my house if I had
The
it.
6th of July, your loving friend, Benedict.
Nay, mock it not. The body of your discourse is sometimes guarded with fragments, and the guards are but slightly basted on neither. Ere you flout old ends any further, examine your conscience, and so I leave you.
My liege, your highness now may do me good.
My love is thine to teach. Teach it but how, and thou shalt see how apt it is to learn any hard lesson that do be good.
Hath Leonato any son, my lord?
No child but hero. Jesus only heir. Hast thou factor, Claudio?
Oh, my lord. When you went onward on this ended action, I looked upon her with the soldier's eye that light, but had a rougher task in hand than to drive liking to the name of love. But now I am returned, and that more thoughts have left their places vacant, and their rooms come thronging soft and delicate desires, all prompting me how fair young hero is, saying I liked her ere I went to wars.
Thou wilt be like a lover presently, and tire the hearer with a book of words. If thou dost love fair hero, cherish it. I will break with her and with her father, and thou shalt have her. Was it not to this end that thou beganst to twist so fine a story?
How sweetly you do minister to love, to know love's grief by his complexion. But lest my liking my 2-7 seem, I would have solved it with a longer treatise.
What need the bridge much broader than the flood? The fairest grant is the necessity. Look, what will serve as fit? 'Tis once thou lovest, and I will fit thee with the remedy. I know we shall have reveling tonight. I will assume thy part in some disguise, and tell fair hero I am Claudio, and in her bosom I'll unclasp her heart, and take her hearing prisoner with the force and strong encounter of my amorous tale. Then after to her father will I break, and the conclusion is, she shall be thine. In practice, let us put it presently.
Oh, how now, brother? Where is my cousin, your son? Have he provided this music?
He is very busy about it. But brother, I can tell you strange news that you guys dreamt not of.
Are they good?
As the event stamps it, they have a good cover for this show well outward. The Prince and Count Claudio, walking in a thick bleach alley in mine orchard, were much overheard by a man of mine. The Prince discovered to Claudio that he loved my niece, your daughter, and meant to acknowledge this night in a dance. And if he found her accordant, meant to take the present time by the top and instantly break with you of it.
Hath the fellow any wit that told you this?
A good sharp fellow. I will send him a question of yourself.
No, we will hold it as a dream from the pier itself. But I will acquaint my daughter withal that she may be the better prepared for an answer, if peradventure this be true. Go you and tell her. Cousins, you know what you have to do? Oh, I cry you mercy, friend. Go you with me and I will use your skill. Good cousins, have a care this busy time.
What the good deal, my lord? Why are you thus so measure sad?
There is no measure in the occasion that grieves. Therefore the sadness is without limit.
You must hear reason.
When I have heard it, what blessing brings it?
If not as a remedy, at least the patient sufferance.
I wonder that thou, being as thou sayest thou art, born under Saturn, goes about to apply a moral medicine to a mortifying mischief. I cannot hide what I am. I must be sad when I have cause, and smile at no man's jests. Eat when I have stomach, and wait for no man's leisure. Sleep when I am drowsy, tend on no man's business. And laugh when I am merry, and claw no man in his humor.
Yea, but you must not make the full show of this till you may do so without compulsion. You have of late set out against your brother who is came newly into his grace, where it is impossible that you should find true root, but by the fair weather you make yourself. It is needful that you frame the season for your own harvest.
I'd rather be a canker in a hedge than a rose in his grace. And it better fits my blood to be disdained from all than the fashionate carriage to rob love from any. In this, though I cannot be said to be a flattering, honest gentleman, it must not be denied that I am a plain-dealing villain. I am entrusted with a claw and enfranchised with a muzzle. Therefore, I have decreed not to sing in my cage. By my mouth, I would bite. By my liberty, I would do my liking. In the meantime, let me be that I am, and seek not to alter me.
You make no use of your discontent.
I make all use of it, for I use it only. Who comes here? What news, Brachio?
I came yonder from a great supper. The prince, your brother, is royally entertained by Leonato, and I can give you intelligence of an intended marriage.
Will it serve a model to build mischief upon? What is he for a fool that betroths himself to unquietness?
Marry, it is your brother's right hand.
The most noble Claudio?
Even he.
Proper squire. And who? Which way looks he?
Marry, on Hero, the daughter and heir of Leonato.
Very foreign-marched chick. How camest thou this?
Being entertained for a perfumer, as I was smoking a musty room, comes me the Prince and Claudio, hand in hand in sad conference. I whipped me behind an arras, and there heard it agreed upon that the prince should woo Hero for himself, and having obtained her, give her to Count Claudio.
Let us thither. This may provide food for my discontent. That young startup hath all the glory of my overthrow. If I can cross him anyway, I bless myself everywhere. You are both sure and will assist me?
To the death, my lord.
Let us to the great hall. Their cheers the greater that I am subdued. For the cook of my mind. Shall we go prove what is to be done?
We shall wait upon your lordship.
At supper?
I saw not.
How toward me that gentleman looks. I can never see him, but I'm heartburn an hour after.
He is of a very melancholy disposition.
You are an excellent man that were made just in the midway between him and Benedict. The one is too like an image and says nothing. The other too like my lady's eldest son, evermore tattling.
Then have Signor Benedict's tongue in Count John's mouth, and have Count John's melancholy in Signor Benedict's face.
With a good leg and a good foot, uncle, and money enough in his purse, such a man would win any woman in the world, if he could get her goodwill.
By my troth, niece, thou wilt never get thee a husband if thou be so shrewd of thy tongue.
In faith, she's too cursed.
Too cursed is more than cursed. I shall lessen God's sending that way. For it is said, God sends a cursed cow short horns, but to a cow too cursed, he sends none.
So, by being too cursed, God will send you no horns.
Just, if he send me no husband, for the which blessing I am at him upon my knees every morning and evening. Lord, I could not endure a husband with beard on his face. I had rather lie in the woollen.
You may light on a husband that hath no beard.
What should I do with him? Dress him in my apparel and make him my waiting gentlewoman. He that hath a beard is more than a youth, and he that hath no beard is less than a man, and he that is more than a youth is not for me, and he that is less than a man, I am not for him. Therefore I will even take sixpence in earnest of the bear herd and lead his apes into hell.
Well, then go you into hell?
No, but to the gate, and there will the devil meet me like an old cuckold with horns on his head and say, "Get you to heaven, Beatrice, get you to heaven. Here's no place for you maids." So, deliver I up my apes and away to St. Peter. For the heavens, he shows me where the bachelors sit, and there live we as merry as the day is long.
Well, niece, I pray you be ruled by your father?
Yes, faith, it is my cousin's duty to make curtsy and say, Father, as it please you. But yet for all that, cousin, let him be a handsome fellow, or else make another curtsy and say, Father, as it please me.
Well, Elise, I hope to see you one day fitted with a husband.
Not till God make men of some other metal than earth. Would it not grieve a woman to be overmastered with a piece of valiant dust, to make an account of her life to a clod of wayward marl? No, uncle, I'll none. Adam's sons are my brethren, and truly I find it a sin to match in my kindred.
Daughter, remember what I told you. If the prince do solicit you in that kind, you know your answer.
The fault will be in the music, cousin, if you be not good in good time. If the prince be too important, tell him there is measure in everything, and so dance out the answer. For hear me, hero. Wooing, wedding, and repenting is as a Scotch jig, a measure, and a syncopace. The first suit is hot and heavy, like a Scotch jig, and full as fantastical. The wedding, mannerly modest as a measure, full of state and ancient strength. And then comes repentance, and with his bad legs falls into the syncopace faster and faster till he sink into his grave.
Niece, you apprehend passing shrewdly.
I have a good eye, uncle. I can see a church by daylight.
The revelers are entering, brother. Make good room.
Welcome.
Lady, will you walk out with your friend?
Walk softly and sweetly and see nothing. I hear you walk in, especially when I walk away.
With me in your company?
I may say so.
I'm pleased you to say so.
When I like your favorite forgotten book, it should be like cakes.
My visor is filled with roof. Within the house is Joe.
I think your eyes should be Dutch.
Speak low if you speak low.
Well, I would you did like me.
So would not I, for your own sake, for I have many ill qualities.
Which is one.
I said my prayers aloud.
I love thee better to hear me cry amen.
God, match me with a good dancer. Amen. And God, keep him from my sight when the dance is done. Answer, clerk. No more words, the clerk has spoken.
I know you well enough. You are Signor Antonio.
At a word, I'm not.
I know you by the waggling of your head.
To tell you true, I counterfeit him.
You could never do him so ill well unless you were the very man. Here's his dry hand, up and down. You are he. You are he.
At a word, I am not.
Come, do you think I do not know you by your excellent wit? Could virtue hide itself? Go to, Mom, you are he. Graces will appear. Then there's an end.
Will you not tell me who told you so?
No, you will pardon me.
Nor will you not tell me who you are?
Not now.
That I was disdainful, and that I had my good wit out of 100 merry tales. Well, this was Signor Benedict that said so.
What's he?
I am sure you know him well enough.
Not I. Leave me.
Did he ever make you laugh?
Pray, what is he?
Why, he's the prince's jester. A very dull fool. Only his gift is in devising impossible slanders. None but libertines delight in him, and the commendation is not in his wit, but in his villainy. For he both pleases men and angers them, and then they laugh at him and beat him. I am sure he's in the fleet, or when he had boarded me.
When I know the gentleman, I'll tell him what you say.
Do. He'll but bring comparison.
My song! Oh, please, my song!
My brother is amorous with Hero, and hath withdrawn her father to break with him about it. The ladies follow her, but one visor remains.
And that is Claudio. I know him by his bearing.
Are not you Signor Benedict? You know me well, I am he.
You are very near my brother in his love. He is enamored of Hero. I pray you dissuade him from her. She's no match for his birth. He may do the part of an honest man in it.
How know you he likes her?
I heard him swear his affection.
So did I too, and he swore he would marry her tonight.
Let's make it.
thus answer I in name of Benedict, but hear these ill news with the ears of Claudio. 'Tis certain so. The prince woos for himself. Friendship is constant in all other things save in the office and affairs of love. Therefore all hearts in love use their own tongues. Let every eye negotiate for itself and trust no agent. For beauty is a witch, against whose charms faith melteth into blood. This is an accident of hourly proof, which I mistrusted not. Farewell, therefore, hero.
Count Claudio.
Yea, the same.
Come, will you go with me?
Whither?
Even to the next willow about your own business, Count. But what fashion will you wear the garland of? About your neck like an assur's chain, or under your arm like lieutenant's scarf? You must wear it one way, for the prince hath got your hero.
I wish him joy.
Why, that's spoken like an honest trover, so they sell bullocks. But did you think the prince would have served you thus?
I pray you, leave me.
Ha! You strike like a blind man. 'Twas the boy who stole your meat, and you'll beat the post.
If it will not be, I'll leave you.
Alas, poor fowl. Now will he creep into sedges. But that my lady Beatrice should know me and not know me. The prince's fool. Ha! It may be I go by that name because I am married. Yea, but I am apt to do myself wrong. I am not so reputed. It is the base, though bitter disposition of Beatrice that so takes the world into her person and puts me out. Well, I'll be revenged as I may. Now, senor, where's the count? Did you see him? Your Grace, I played the part of Lady Fame. I found him here, as melancholy as a lodge in Warren, and I bid him my services to the next willow tree, either to bind him a garland as being forsaken, or to make him a rod as being worthy to be whipped.
To be whipped? What's his fault?
The flat transgression of a schoolboy who, overjoyed in finding a bird's nest, shows it his companion and he steals it.
Wilt thou make a trust a transgression? The transgression is in the stealer.
Yea, but it had not been amiss that the rod had been made, and a garland too. For the garland he might have worn himself, and the rod he might have bestowed on you, who as I take have stolen his bird's nest.
I will but teach them to sing and restore them to the owner.
By my faith, if their singing answer your saying, you speak honestly.
The Lady Beatrice hath a quarrel to you. The gentleman that danced with her told her she is much wronged by you.
Oh, she hath misused me past the endurance of a block. An oak, but with one green leaf on it, would have answered her. My very advisor began to assume life and scold with her. She told me, not thinking I had been myself, that I was the prince's jester. That I was duller than a great thaw, huddling jest upon jest with such impossible conveyance upon me that I stood like a man in a bark with a whole army shooting at me. She speaks ponders, and every word stabs. If her breath were as terrible as her terminations, there would be no living near her. She'd infect the North Star. I would not marry her, though she were endowed with all that Adam had with him before he transgressed. She would have made Hercules a turn spit, yea, and cleft his club to make the fire too. Come, talk not of her. We'll find her in the infernal octane good apparel, and I would to God some scholar would conjure her. For certainly, while she is here, man may find as much peace in hell as in a sanctuary, and people sin upon purpose that they would go thither. Indeed, all disquiet horror and perturbation follows her. Look, here she comes. I would your grace would bid me do any service unto the world's end. I will fetch you now a toothpicker from the furthest inch of Asia. Bring you a hair from the length of the Khan's beard. Bring you the length of Prester John's foot. To you any embassage, rather than take 3 words conference with this harpy. Come, have you no employment for me?
None but to desire your good company.
Here's a dish I love not. I cannot endure my lady's tongue.
Come, lady, come. You have lost the heart of Senor Benedict.
Indeed, my lord. He lent it me a while, and I give him use for it, a double heart for his single one. Marry, once before he won it of me with false dice. Therefore your grace may well say I have lost it.
You have put him down, lady. You have put him down.
So I would not he should do me, my lord, lest I should prove the mother of fools. I have brought Count Claudio, whom you sent me to seek.
Why, how now, Count? Wherefore are you sad?
Not sad, my lord.
How then? Sick?
Neither, my lord.
The Count is neither sad nor sick, nor merry nor well, but civil, Count. Civil as an orange, and something of that jealous complexion.
In faith, lady, I think you're blazing to be true. Though I'll be sworn if you be so, and his conceit is false. Here, Claudio, I wooed in thy name, and fair hero is one. I've broken her father, and his goodwill obtained. May the day of marriage, God give thee joy.
Count, take away my daughter, and with her my fortunes. His grace hath made the match, and all grace say amen to.
Speak, Count, 'tis your cue.
Silence is the perfectest herald of joy. I were but little happy if I could say how much. My lady, as you are mine, I knows. I give away myself for you and dote upon the exchange.
Speak, cousin, or if you cannot, stop his mouth with a kiss and let him not speak neither.
In faith, lady, you have a merry heart.
Yea, my lord, I thank the poor fool. He keeps on the windy side of care. My cousin tells him in his ear that he is in her heart.
And so she doth, cousin.
Good Lord for alliance. Thus goes everyone to the world but I, and I am sunburnt. I may sit in a corner and cry, hey ho, for a husband.
Lady Beatrice, I will get you one.
I would rather have one of your fathers get it. Have your grace ne'er a brother like you. Your father got excellent husbands and may come by them.
Will you have me, lady?
No, my lord. Unless I might have another for working days, your grace is too costly to wear every day. But I beseech your grace's pardon. I was born to speak all mirth and no matter.
Your silence most offends me. And to be married thus becomes you, for out of question you are born in a merry hour.
No, sure, my lord. My mother cried, but then there was a star danced, and under that was I born. Cousins, God give you joy.
Niece, will you look to those things I told you of?
I cry you mercy, uncle, by your grace's pardon.
By my troth, a pleasant-spirited lady.
There's little of the melancholy element in her, my lord. She's never sad, but when she sleeps, and not of her sad bed, for I've heard my daughter say she hath often dreamt of unhappiness and waked herself with laughing.
She cannot endure to hear tell of a husband.
Oh, by no means. She mocks all her wooers out of suit.
She were an excellent wife for Benedict.
Oh, Lord. My lord, if they were but a week married, they would talk themselves mad.
County Claudio, when mean you to go to church?
Tomorrow, my lord. Time goes on crutches to love hath all his rights.
Not till Monday, my dear son, which is hence a just 7 night, and a time too brief too to have all things answer my mind.
Come, you shake the head at so long a breathing, but I'll warrant thee, Claudio, the time shall not go dully by us. I will in the interim undertake one of Hercules' labors, which is to bring Signor Benedict and the Lady Beatrice into a mountain of affection, the one with the other. I would fain have it a match, and I doubt not but to fashion it, if you three will administer such assistance as I shall give you direction.
My lord, I am for you, though it cost me 10 nights' watch.
And I, my lord.
And you too, gentle hero.
I will do any modest office my lord to help my cousin to a good husband.
And Benedict is not the unhopefullest husband that I know. Thus far can I praise him. He's of a noble strain, of approved valor, and confirmed honesty. I will teach you how to humor your cousins, that she shall fall in love with Benedict. And I, with your two helps, will so practice on Benedict, that in despite of his quick wit and his queasy stomach, he shall fall in love with Beatrice. If we can do this, Cupid is no longer an archer. His glory shall be ours, for we are the only love gods. Go in with me, and I will tell you my drift.
It is so. Count Claudio shall marry the daughter of Leonardo.
Yea, my lord, but I can cross it.
Any bar, any cross, any impediment will be medicinable to me, and whatsoever comes athwart his affection ranges evenly with mine, and in sick and displeasure towards him. How canst thou cross this marriage?
Well, not honestly, my lord, but so covertly
me briefly how.
I think I told your lordship a year since how much I am in the favor of Margaret, the Lady Hero's waiting gentlewoman.
I remember.
I can, at any unseasonable instant of the night, appoint her to look out at her lady's chamber window.
What life is in that to be the death of this marriage?
The poison in that lies in you to temper. Go you to the prince. Spare not to tell him how he hath wronged his honor in marrying the renowned Claudio, whose estimation do you mightily hold up, to a contaminated stale, such a one as Hero.
What proof shall I make of that?
Proof enough to misuse the prince, to vex Claudio, to undo Hero and kill Leonato. Look you for any other issue?
Only to spite them, I will endeavor anything.
Go then. Find me a meet hour to draw Don Pedro and the Count Claudio together. Tell them that you know that Hero loves me. Intend a kind of zeal to both the prince and Claudio, as in love of your brother's honor who hath made the match, and his friend's reputation, who is like to be cousin with the semblance of a maid. They will scarcely believe this without trial. Offer them instances which shall bear no less likelihood than to see me at her chamber window, hear me call Margaret Hero, hear Margaret term me Claudio, and bring them to see this the very night before the intended wedding. For in the meantime, I shall so fashion the matter that Hero shall be absent, and there will be such seeming truth in Hero's disloyalty that jealousy shall be called assurance, and all of the preparations overthrown.
Grow this to what adverse issue it may, and I will put it into practice. Be cunning in thy dealing of this, and thy fee is 1,000 ducats.
Be you constant in the accusation, and my cunning shall not shame me.
Shall presently go learn their day of marriage.
Wonder that one man, after seeing how much another man is a fool when he dedicates his behavior to love, shall, after he hath laughed at such shallow follies in others, make the argument of his own scorn by falling in love. And such a man as Claudio. I have known when there was no music in him but the drum and the fife, and now he'd rather hear the tabor and the pipe. I've known when he walked 10 miles afoot to see a good armor, and now will he spend 10 nights awake carving the fashion of a new doublet. He was wont to speak plain to the purpose, like an honest man and a soldier. Now he's turned orthography. His words are very fantastical banquet, just so many strange dishes. Shall I be so converted in seeing these eyes? I do not know. I think not. Nay,
I will never be so much a fool in love till love will transform me to an oyster. Yea, I'll be sworn on it. Till he hath made an oyster of me, he shall never make me such a fool. One woman is fair, yet I am well. Another is virtuous, and yet I am well. Another wise, and yet I am well. But till all graces come in one woman shall not come in my graces. Rich she shall, that certain. Wise, or I'll none. Virtuous, or I'll never cheapen her. Fair, or I'll never look on her. Noble, or not I for an angel. Of good discourse, an excellent musician, and her hair shall be of what color it please God. Ah, the prince wants her love. I will hide me in the art.
Come, shall we hear this music?
Yea, my good lord. How still the evening is. It's hushed on purpose to grace harmony.
See where Benedict put himself? Very well, my lord. The music ended before the kid fox with the penny whip. Come, Balthazar, we'll hear that song again.
Oh, good my lord tax not so bad a voice to slander music any more than once.
It is the witness still of excellency, put a strange face on his own perfection. I pray you sing, and let me woo no more.
Because you talk of wooing, I will sing, since many a wooer doth commence his suit to her he thinks not worthy. Yet he woos, yet will he swear he loves.
Nay, pray you, come. Or if thou wilt hold longer arguments, do it at once.
Note this before my notes. There's not a note of mine that's worth the noting.
Why, these are very crotchets that he speaks. Notes, forsooth, and nothing.
Now, divine air, now is his soul ravished. Is it not strange that sheep's guts should hill souls out of men's bodies? Well, a horn for my money when all's done.
Sigh no more, ladies, sigh no more. Men were deceivers ever. One foot in sea and one on shore, to one thing constant ever. Then sigh not so, but let them go, and be you light and funny, converting all your sounds of woe into hey nunny nunny. Sing no more ditties, sing no more of dumps so dull and the fraud of men was ever so, since summer first was ready. Then sigh not so, but let them go, and be you light and funny, converting all your sound of woe to hey nunny
Good song.
and an ill singer, my lord.
No, thou singst well enough for a shift.
I mean, he had been a dog that should have held us, they would have hanged him. I pray God his mad music bode no mischief. Though his leaf had heard the night raven come with the plague, could have come after it.
Yea, merry dost thou hear, Balthazar? I pray thee get us some excellent music, for tomorrow night we would have it at the Lady Hero's chamber window.
The best I can, my lord.
Do so. Farewell. Come hither, Leonardo. What was it you told me of today? That your niece, Beatrice, is in love with Signor Benedict? Oh, Stuck on, thou sits. I did never think that lady would have loved any man but
No, nor I neither, but most wonderful that she should so dote on Signor Benedict, whom she hath in all outward behavior seemed ever to abhor.
Is it possible? Since the wind into that corner.
By my troth, my lord, I cannot tell what to think of it, but that she loves him with an enraged affection. It is past the admit of thought.
Maybe she doth but counterfeit.
Faith, like enough. Oh God, counterfeit. There was never counterfeit of passion came so near the life of passion as she discovers it.
Why? What effects of passion shows she?
Base the hook well, this fish will bite.
What effects, my lord? She will sit you. You heard my daughter tell you how.
She did indeed. How, I pray you?
You amaze me. I have the spirit of invincible against all assaults of affection.
I would have sworn it had, my lord, especially against Benedict.
I should think this were a gull, but that the white-bearded fellow speaks it. Knavery cannot sure hide itself in such reverence.
He had taken the infection, hold it up.
Hath she made her affection known to Benedict?
No, and swear she never will. That's her torment.
'Tis true indeed, so your daughter says. Shall I, says she, that have so oft encountered him with scorn, write to him, that I love him?
This says she now when she is beginning to write to him, for she'll be up 20 times a night, and there will she sit in her smock till she have writ a sheet of paper, my daughter tells us all.
Now you talk of a sheet of paper, I remember a pretty jest your daughter told us of.
Oh, when she had written and was reading it over, she found Benedict and Beatrice between the sheet. Oh, she tore the letter into 1,000 halfpence, railed at herself that she should be so immodest to write to one that she knew would flout her. I measure him, says she, by my own spirits, for I should flout him if he writ to me. Oh, yea, though I love him, I should.
Then down upon her knees she falls, weeps, sobs, beats her heart, tears her hair, prays, curses. Oh, sweet Benedict, God give me patience.
She doth indeed, my daughter says so, and the ecstasy hath so much overborne her that my daughter is sometimes afeared she will do a desperate outrage to herself. It is very true.
It were good Benedict knew of it by some other, she will not discover it.
Oh, to what end? He would but make a sport of it and torment the poor lady worse.
And he should. It were an alms to hang him. She's an excellent sweet lady, and out of all suspicion, she is virtuous.
And she is exceeding wise.
In everything but in loving Benedict.
Oh, my lord, wisdom and blood combating in so tender a body, we have 10 proofs to 1 that blood hath the victory. I am sorry for her, as I have just cause, being her uncle and her guardian.
I would she had bestowed this dotage on me. I would have daffed all other respects and made her half myself. I pray you tell Benedict of it, and hear what he will say.
Were it good, think you?
Hero thinks surely she will die, for she says she will die if he love her not, and she will die ere she make her love known, and she will die ere keeping one breath of that accustomed crossness.
She doth well. If she should make tender of her love, 'tis very possible he'll scorn it, for the man, as you know all, hath a contemptible spirit.
He is a very proper man.
He hath indeed a good outward happiness.
Before God, and in my mind very wise,
He doth indeed show some sparks that are like wit.
and I take him to be valiant.
Oh, as Hector, I assure you. For in the managing of quarrels you may say he is wise, for he either avoids them with great discretion, or undertakes them with the most Christian-like fear.
If he do fear God, he must necessarily keep peace. If he break the peace, he ought to enter into a quarrel with fear and trembling.
And so will he do. For the man doth fear God, howsoever it seems not in him by some large jest he will make. Well, I'm sorry for your niece. Shall we go seek Benedict and tell him of her love?
Oh, never tell him, my lord. Let her wear it out with good counsel.
Nay, that's impossible. She may wear her heart out first.
Well, we will hear further of it by your daughter. Let it cool the while. I love Benedict well, and I could wish he would modestly examine himself to see how unworthy he is of so good a lady.
My lord, will you walk? Dinner is ready.
If you do not go on her upon this, I will never trust my expectations.
Let the same net be spread for her, and that must your daughter and her gentlewomen carry. The sport will be when they hold one an opinion of another stonage, and no such matter. That's the scene that I would see, which will be merely a dumb show. Let us send her to call him into dinner.
This can be no trick. The conference was sadly born. They have the truth of this from here, and they seem to pity the lady. It seems her affections have their full bent. Love me. Why, it must be requited. I hear how I am sound. They say I will bear myself proudly if I do perceive the love come from her. They say, too, that you'd rather die than give any sign of affection. I did never think to marry. I must not be proud. Happy are they that can hear their detractions and put them to mending. It may be that I will have some quirks and remnants of wit broke on me, for I've railed against marriage for so long, but doth not the appetite alter? A man loves the meat in his youth that he cannot endure in his age. Shall these quips and sentences and paper bullets of the brain flout a man out of the career of his humor? No! The world must be peopled. When I said I would die a bachelor, I did never think I should live till I were married. Oh, here comes the Lady Beatrice. By this day, she is a fair lady. Induced by some marks of loving her.
Against my will, I am sent to bid you come into dinner.
My Lady Beatrice, I thank thee for thy pains.
I took no more pains for those thanks than you take pains to thank me. If it had been painful, I would not have come.
You take pleasure then in the message?
Yea, just so much as you may take upon a knife's point and choke a doll withal. You have no stomach, signor. Fare you well.
Against my will, I was sent to bid you come into dinner. There's a double meaning in that. I took no more pains for those thanks than you took pains to thank me. Why, that's almost as if to say, any pains I take for thee are as easy as thanks. I do not pity her, I'm a villain. If I do not love her, I will go get her picture.
Fare thee well in it and leave us alone.
I'll make her come, I warrant you. Presently!
First one. When Beatrice doth come, as we trace this alley up and down, our talk must only be of benedict. And I do name him, let it be thy part to praise him more than ever man did merit. My talk to thee must be how Benedict is sick, in love with Beatrice. Of this matter is little Cupid's crafty arrow made, that only wounds by hearsay. Now, begin, for look, work that Beatrice, like a lapwing runs close by the ground. This is our conflict.
The pleasantest angling is to see the fish cut with her golden oars the silver stream, greedily devoured the So angle we for Beatrice, who even now is couched in the woodbine overture. Fear you not my part of the dialogue.
And go from you. For her is nothing but false sweet for No, truly, Ursula, she is too disdainful. I know her spirit to be as coy and wild as tigers of a rock.
But are you sure that Benedict loves Beatrice? So entirely?
So says the prince to my new betrothed lord.
And did they bid you tell her of it, madam?
They did entreat me to acquaint her, but I persuaded them if they
vane blown with all winds, if silent by a black roof with none. So she expels every man the wrong side out, and never gives to truth and virtue that which simpleness and merit purchase sin.
Sure, such carping is not commendable.
I know not to be so odd, and from all fashions, as Beatrice is, cannot be commendable, but you dare tell her so. If I should speak, she would mock me into the air. Oh, she would laugh me out of myself and press me to death with wit. Therefore, let Benedict, like covered fire, consume away with sighs, waste inwardly. It were a better death than die with fox, which is as bad as die with tickling.
Yet tell her of it. Hear what she will say.
No, rather I will go to Benedict and counsel him to fight against passion, and truly, I'll devise some honest slanders to stain my cousin. One doth not know how much an ill word may poison liking.
Oh! You have done your cousin such a wrong! She cannot be so much without true judgment, having so swift and excellent wit as she is prized to have, as to refuse so rare a gentleman as Signor Benedict.
He is the only man of Italy, always excepting my dear Claudio.
I pray you be not angry with me, madam. Speaking my fancy, Signor Benedict. Shame, forbearing, argument, valor, goes foremost in report through Italy.
Indeed, he hath an excellent good name.
His excellence did earn it ere he had it. When are you married, madam?
Why, every day, tomorrow. Come, go in. I'll show thee some attires and have thy counsel on which is best to furnish thee with.
I warn you, we have caught her, madam.
So, then loving goes by halves. Some Cupid kills with arrows, some with traps. What fire is in my ears? Can this be true? Since I condemned for pride and scorn so much.
Contempt, farewell, and maiden pride, adieu. No glory lives behind the back of such. And Benedict, love on. I will requite thee, taming my wild heart to thy loving hand. If thou dost love, my kindness shall incite thee to bind our loves up in a holy band. For others say thou dost deserve, and I believe it better than reportingly.
I do but stay till your marriage be consummate, and then go I toward Aragon.
I'll go thither, my lord, if you'll vouchsafe me.
Nay, that would be as great a soil on the new gloss of your marriage as to show a child his new coat and forbid him to wear it. I will only be bold with Benedict for his company, for from the crown of his head to the sole of his foot, he is all mirth. He hath twice or thrice cut Cupid's bowstring, and the little hangman dare not shoot him. He has a heart as sound as a bell, and his tongue is the clapper. For what his heart thinks, his tongue speaks.
Gallant I know as I have been.
So say I. Methinks you are sadder.
I hope he be in love.
Hang him, truant. There's no true drop of blood in him to be truly touched by love. If he be sad, he wants money.
I have the toothache.
Draw it.
Hang it. You must draw it first and hang it afterwards.
What? Sigh for the tooth.
Where's but a humor or a worry?
Any man can master humor, but he that hasn't.
Yet say I, he is in love. There is no appearance of fancy in him, unless it be a fancy he hath just strange disguises. So to be a Dutchman today, a Frenchman tomorrow, or in the shape of two countries at once. A German from the waist down where it's all slops, and a Spaniard from the hip upward, no doubt. Unless he have a fancy to this foolery, as it appears he hath, he is no fool for fancy as you would have it appear he is.
If he be not in love with some woman, there is no believing old signs. He brushes his hat all mornings. What should that bode?
Hath any man seen him at the barber's?
No, but the barber's man hath been seen with him, and the old ornament of his cheek hath already stuffed tennis balls.
Indeed, he looks younger than he did by the loss of a beard.
Nay, he rubs himself with a civet. Can you smell him out by that?
That's as much as to say the sweet youth's in love.
The greatest note of it is his melancholy.
And since when was he wont to wash his face?
Or to paint himself, for the which I hear what they say of him.
Nay, but his jesting spirit, which is now crept into a lute string and governed by stops.
Indeed, that tells a heavy tale for him. Conclude, he is in love.
Nay, but I know who loves him.
That one I know too. I warrant one that knows him not.
And his ill conditions, and in despite of all, dies for him.
She shall be buried with her face upward.
Yet this is no charm for the toothache. Good Signor, walk with me. I've studied some 8 or 9 wise words to speak with you, which these hobby horses must not hear.
For my life, to break with him about Beatrice.
Hero and Margaret have by this played their parts with Beatrice, and then the two bears will not fight another when they meet.
My lord and brother, God save you.
Good evening, brother.
If your leisure serve, I would speak with you, in private, if it please you. The Count Claudio may hear, for what I would speak of concerns him.
What's the matter?
Means your lordship to be married tomorrow?
You know he does.
I know that not, when he knows what I know.
If there be any impediment, I pray you discover it.
You may think I love you not, yet let that appear hereafter, and aim better at me by that which I now will manifest. For I know my brother hold you well, and in dearness of heart hath hoped to effect your ensuing marriage. Surely suit ill spent and labor ill bestowed.
Why, what's the matter?
I come hither to tell you a circumstance is shortened, for she's too long spoken of. The lady is disloyal.
Who?
Hero? Even she, Leonato's hero, your hero, every man's hero.
Ah, disloyal.
The word is too good to paint over her wickedness. I could say that she were worse. Think you of a worse title, and I will fit her to it. Wonder not to further words. Go but with me tonight, and I will show you her chamber window entered, even the night before her wedding day. If you love her then, tomorrow wed her, for it would best fit your honor to change your mind.
May this be so.
I will not think it.
If you dare not trust what you see, confess not what you know. Go but with me tonight, and I will show you enough. When you have heard more and seen more, proceed accordingly.
If I see any reason tonight why I should not marry her, tomorrow at the congregation where I should be wed, there will I shame her.
And as I wooed for thee to obtain her, I will join with thee to disgrace her.
I will disparage her no further till you are my witnesses. Bear it but coldly till midnight, and let the issue show itself.
Oh, day untowardly turned.
Oh, mischief strangely thwarted.
Oh, plague right well prevented! So will you say when you have seen the sequel.
Are you good men and true?
Yea, or else it were a pity but they should suffer salvation, body and soul.
Oh nay, that were punishment too good for them if they should have any allegiance in them, being chosen for the prince's watch.
Well, give them their charge, neighbor Gunberry.
First, who think you the most desertless man to be constable?
George Sequel, sir, for he can read and write.
Come hither, neighbor Sequel. God hath blessed you with a good name. To be a well-favored man is the gift of fortune, but to write and read comes by nature.
Both which, Master Constable?
You have. I knew it would be your answer. Well, for your favor, sir, why, give God thanks, and make no boast of it. And for your writing and reading, let that appear when there is no need of such vanity. You are thought here to be the most senseless and fit man for the constable of the watch. Therefore, bear you the lantern. This is your charge. You shall comprehend all that wrong men. You are to bid any man stand in the prince's name.
How if they will not stand?
Why then take no note of them, but let them go. And presently call the rest of the watch together, and thank God you are rid of a knave.
If he will not stand when he is bidden, then he has none of that prince's subjects.
True, and they are to meddle with none but the prince's subjects. You shall also make no noise in the streets, for the watch to babble and to talk is most tolerable, and not to be endured.
We will rather sleep than talk. We know it belongs to a watch.
Oh, why, you speak like an ancient and most quiet watchman, for I cannot see how sleeping should offend. Only have a care that your bills be not stolen. Well, you are to call at all the alehouses and bid those that are drunk get them to bed.
How if they will not?
Why then, let them alone till they are sober. If they make you not then the better answer, you may say they are not the men you took them for.
Well, sir.
If you meet a thief, you may suspect him, by virtue of your office, to be no true man. And for such kind of men, the less you meddle or make with them, why the more is for your honesty.
If we know him to be a thief, shall we not lay hands on him?
Truly, by your office you may, but I think they that touch pitch will be defiled. The most peaceable way for you, if you do take a thief, is to let him show himself what he is, and steal out of your company.
You have always been called a merciful man, partner.
Truly, I would not take a dog by my will, much more a man who hath any honesty in him.
If you hear a child cry in the night, you must call to the nurse and bid her still it.
How? If the nurse be asleep and will not hear us.
Why then, depart in peace, and let the child wake her with crying. For the ewe that will not hear her lamb when it baas will never answer her calf when he bleats.
'Tis very true.
This is the end of the charge. You, constable, are to present the prince's own person. If you meet the prince in the night, you may stay him.
Nay, by our lady, that I think he cannot.
Oh, 5 shillings to 1 on't. With any man that knows the statutes, he may stay him. Marry, not without the prince be willing, for indeed the watch ought to offend no man, and it is an offence to stay a man against his will.
By our lady, I think so.
Ha! Ha ha! Well, masters, good night. And there be any matter of weight chances, call up me. Keep your fellows' counsels and your own, and good night. Come, neighbor.
Well, master, hear our charge. Let us go sit here upon this church bench till 2 and then.
One word more, honest neighbors. I pray you watch about Signor Leonato's door, for the wedding being there tomorrow, there is a great coil tonight. Adieu, be vigilant, I beseech you.
What, comrade?
Peace, stir not.
Comrade, I say.
Here, man, I am at thy elbow.
Mass, and my elbow-ish, I thought there would a scab follow.
I will owe thee an answer to that. Now, forward with thy tale.
Stand thee close then under this penthouse for it drizzles rain, and I shall, like a true drunkard, utter all to thee.
Some treason, master, and stand close.
Therefore know, I have earned of Don John 1,000 ducats.
Is it possible that any villainy should be so dear?
Oh, thou shouldst rather ask if it were possible any villainy should be so rich.
For when rich villains have need of poor ones may make what price they will.
I wonder at.
That shows thou art unconfirmed. Thou knowest that the fashion of a doublet or a hat or a cloak is nothing to a man.
Yes, it is apparel.
I mean, the fashion.
Yes, the fashion is the fashion.
Tush, I may as well say the fool's the fool. But seest thou not what a deformed thief this fashion is?
I know that deformed. He goes up and down like a gentleman. He's been a vile thief this 7 year. Remember his name?
Didst thou not hear something?
No, 'twas the vein on the house.
Seest thou not, I say, what a deformed thief this fashion is? How giddily he turns about all the hot bloods between 14 and 35, sometimes fashioning them like the Pharaoh soldiers in the Ricci painting, sometimes like the God Bel's priests in the church window, sometimes like the shaven Hercules in the smirched worm-eaten tapestries, where his cod piece is as mighty as his club.
All this I see, and I see the fashion wears out more apparel than the man, but art thou thyself not giddy with the fashion that thou hast shifted out of thy tale into telling me of the fashion?
Oh, not so neither! But know that tonight I have wooed Margaret, the lady hero's gentlewoman, by the name of a hero. She leaned me out at her window, bid me 1,000 times good night. Oh, yeah, I tell this tale vilely. I should first tell thee how the Prince Claudio and my master, planted and placed and possessed by my master Don John, saw far off in the orchard this amiable encounter.
And thought they Margaret was hero?
2 of them did, the Prince and Claudio, but the devil, my master, knew she was Margaret, and partly by his oaths, which did first possess them, partly by the dark night, which did deceive them, but chiefly by my villainy, which did confirm any slander Don John had made. Away went Claudio enraged, swore he would meet her as appointed the next morning at the temple, and there, before the whole congregation, shame her with what he saw overnight, and sent her home again without a husband.
We charge with the prince's name, stand!
Call up the right master constable. We appear in the dangerous that ever was known in the Commonwealth. And one deformed is one of them. I know him. He wears a lock.
Masters! Masters, never speak. We charge you. Let us obey you to go with us.
We are like to prove a goodly commodity being taken up of these men's bills.
Commodity in question, I'll warrant you. Come, we'll obey.
Good Ursula, wake my cousin Beatrice and desire her to rise.
I will, Lady.
And come and bid her come hither.
Well, troth, I think your other vibrato were better.
No, pray thee, good Meg, I'll word up at this.
By my troth, 'tis not so good, and I warrant your cousin will say say so.
My cousin is a fool, and thou art another. I'll remember this.
I like your new tie ribbon excellently, if the hair were a thought browner. And your dress is of rare fashion and faith. I saw the Duchess of Milan's gown that they praised so.
Oh, that exceeds these things.
By my troth, 'tis but a nightgown in respect of yours. Cloth of gold and cuts and laced with silver, set with pearls, down sleeves, side sleeves, and skirts round underborne with a bluish tinsel. But for a fine, quaint, graceful, and excellent fashion, yours is worth 10 on it.
God give me joy to wear it, for my heart is exceeding heavy.
'Twill be heavier soon by the weight of a man.
What? They are not ashamed.
Of what, lady? Of speaking honorably? Is not marriage honorable in a beggar? Is not your lord honorable without marriage? I think you would have me say, shaving your reverence a husband. And that thinking do not rest to true speaking, I'll offend no one. Is there any harm in the heavier for a husband? None, I think. And if you the right husband and the right wife. Otherwise, 'tis light and not heavy. Ask my lady Beatrice, else. Here she comes.
Tomorrow, cuz.
Good morrow, sweet hero.
Oh no, she's taking the sick too.
I am out of all other tune, methinks.
Well, clap us into light of love. That goes without a burden. You sing it and I'll dance it.
You light along with your heels. Then if your husband have stables enough to see, he shall lack no bearings.
Oh, illegitimate construction. I scorn that with my heels.
'Tis almost 5 o'clock, cousin. 'Tis time you were ready. My betrothed, I am exceeding ill. Hey ho!
For a hawk, a horse, or a husband.
For the letter that begins them all.
Well, and you be not turned Turk, there's no more sailing by the star.
What means the fool trow?
Nothing. But God send everyone their heart's desire.
These gloves the count sent me, they have an excellent perfume.
I am stuffed, cousin. I cannot smell.
A maid and stuff. There's goodly catching cold.
Oh, God help me. God help me. How long have you professed apprehension?
Ever since you left it, doth not my wit become me rarely.
It is not seen enough. You should wear it in your cap. By my troth, I am sick.
Oh, get you some of this distilled Cardus Benedictus and lay it to your heart. There is nothing else for a qualm.
There, thou prickst the
Benedictus. Why Benedictus? You have some moral in this Benedictus.
No, I have no moral meaning. I meant plain holy thistle. You may think, perchance, that I think you are in love. Nay, by our lady, I am not such a fool to think what I list, nor I list not to think what I can, nor I cannot think, if I were to think my heart out of thinking, that you are in love, that you can be in love, or that you will be in love. Yet Dick was such another, and now is he become a man? He swore he would never marry, and yet now, in despite of his heart, he eats his meat without grudging. How you may be converted, I know not, but methinks you look with your eyes as other women do.
What pace is this that thy tongue keeps?
Not a false gallop.
Madam, withdraw. The prince, the count, Signor Benedict, Don John, and all the gallants of the town have come to fetch you to church.
Help me to trust, good cuz, good Meg, good Ursula.
What would you with me, honest neighbor?
Marry, sir, I would have some confidence with you that discerns you nearly.
Brief, I pray you, for you see it is a busy time with me.
Marry, this it is, sir.
Yes, in truth it is, sir.
What is it, my good friend?
A good man, Virgin, sir, speaks a little off the matter. An old man, sir, and his wits are not so blunt as, God help, I would desire they were. But, in faith, honest as the skin between his brows.
Yes, I thank God that I am honest as any man living, that is an old man, and no honesty than I.
Comparisons are odorous. Palabras, neighbor Virgis.
Neighbors, you are tedious.
Oh, it pleases your worship to say so, but we are the poor duke's officers. But truly, for mine own part, if I were as tedious as a king, I could find in my heart to bestow it all of your worship.
All thy tediousness on me, huh?
Oh, yea, and for 1,000 pounds more than 'tis. For I hear as good exclamation on your worship as of any man in the city. And though I be but a poor man, I am glad to hear it.
And so am I.
I would fain know what you have to say.
Mary, sir, our watch tonight, except in your worship's presence, has taken a couple of errant knaves as any in Messina.
A good old man, sir. He will be talking. As they say, when the age is in, the wit is out. God help us, it is a world to see. Well said, if faith, neighbor Virgis. Well, God's a good man. And 2 men ride of a horse, 1 must ride behind. An honest soul, if apes by my troth he is, as ever broke bread. But God is to be worshipped, all men are not alike, alas, good neighbor.
Indeed, neighbor, he comes too short of you.
Oh, gifts that God gives.
I must leave you.
1 word, sir. Our watch, sir, have indeed comprehended 2 auspicious persons, and we would this morning have them examined before your worship.
Take their examination yourself, and bring it me. I am now in great haste, as it may appear unto you.
It shall be suffocance.
Drink some wine ere you go. Very well.
My lord, they say for you to give your daughter to her husband.
I'll wait upon them. I am ready.
Go, good partner, go. Give you to Francis Sequel. Bid him bring his pen and inkhorn to the jail. We are now to examination these men.
And we must do it wisely.
Oh, we will spare for no wit, I warrant you. Here's that shall drive some of them to a non-com. Only get the learned writer to examine our excommunication and meet me at the jail.
You come hither, my lord, to marry this lady?
No.
To be married to her, Friar, you come to marry.
Lady, you come hither to be married to this count?
I do.
If either of you know any inward impediment why you should not be conjoined, I charge you on your souls to utter it.
Know you any hero?
Not my lord.
Know you any count?
I dare make his answer, none.
Oh, what men dare do, what men may do, what men daily do, not knowing what they do. Ow now! Interjections! Why, some be of laughing as Standing by, Father, by your leave, will you with free and unconstrained soul give me this maid, your daughter?
As freely son as God did give her me.
And what have I to give you, whose worth may counterpoise this rich and precious gift? Nothing, unless you render her again. Sweet prince, you learn me noble thankfulness. There, Leonardo, take her back again. Give not this rotten orange to your friend. She's but the sign and semblance of her honor. Behold, like Almy, she blushes here. What authority in show of truth can cunning sin cover itself withal? Comes not that blood as modest evidence to witness simple virtue? Would you not swear, all you that see her, that you are made by these exterior shows? But she is none! She knows the heat of a luxurious bed. Her blush is guiltiness, not modesty.
What do you mean, my lord?
Not to be married, not to knit my soul to an approved wanton!
Dear my lord, if you in your own proof have vanquished the resistance of her youth and made defeat of her virginity.
I know what you would say. You would say that she did embrace me as a husband, and so extenuate the forehand sin. No, Leonardo. I never tempted her with word too large, but as a brother to his sister, showed bashful sincerity and comely love.
And seemed I ever otherwise to you?
Outwardly seeming will right against it. You seem to me as Diane in her orb, as chaste as is the bud ere people. But you are more intemperate in your blood than Venus, or those pampered animals that rage in savage sensuality.
My lord so love me, thou speak so what?
Sweet prince, why speak not you?
What should I speak? I stand dishonored that I've gone about to lead my dear friend to a common stand.
These words spoken, or do I but dream?
They are spoken, and these things are true.
This looks not like a nuptial.
True, oh God!
Leonardo, stand out here. Is this the prince? Is this the prince's brother? Is this the face heroes? Are our eyes our own?
All this is so, my lord, but what of this?
Let me but move one question to your daughter, and by that fatherly and kindly power that you have in her, bid her answer true.
I charge thee do so as thou art my child.
Oh God, defend me, how might be said? What kind of catechizing call you this?
To make you answer truly to your name.
Is it not hero? Who can blot that name with any just reproach?
Maybe that can, hero. Hero itself can blot out hero's virtue. What man was he talked with you yesternight, out of your window betwixt 12 and 1. If you are a maid, answer to this.
I talked with no man at that hour, my lord.
Why then are you no maiden? Leonardo, I am sorry you must hear. Upon mine honor, myself, my brother, and this grieved count did see her, hear her, at that hour last night, talk with a ruffian at her chamber window, who hath indeed, most like a liberal villain, confessed the vile encounters they have had 1,000 times.
Fine. They are not to be named, my lord, not to be spoke of. There's not chastity enough in language to utter them. Thus, pretty lady, I am sorry for thy much misgovernment.
Hero, what a hero hadst thou been, if half thy outward graces were placed upon thy thoughts and counsels of thy heart. But farewell, most foul, most fair. Farewell, thou pure in piety and in pious purity. For thee I'll lock up all the gates of love, and on my eyelid shall conjecture me to turn all thoughts of beauty into harm, and never shall it more be gracious.
Hath no man's dagger here a point for me.
What, how now, cousin, I forced you down.
Come, let us go. These things come thus to light. Smother her spirits up.
Uncle! Damn, I think! Oh, Uncle! Hero! Why, hero! Uncle! Signor Benedict Friar!
Fate, take not away thy heavy hand. Death is the fairest cover for her shame that may be wished for.
Oh, no, cousin,
Have comfort, lady.
Dost thou look up?
Yea, wherefore should she not?
Wherefore? Why doth not every earthly thing cry shame upon her? Could she here deny the story that is printed in her blood? Do not live, hero, do not open thine eyes, for did I think thou wouldst not quickly die, thought I thy spirits were stronger than thy shames. Myself would, on the rearward of reproaches, strike at thy left. Grieved I had but one. Chid I for that, at frugal nature's frame. Oh, one too much by thee. Why had I one? Why ever wast thou lovely in mine eyes? Why had I not, with charitable hand, took up a beggar's issue at my gates, who smirched thus and mired with infamy? I might have said, no part of it is mine, the shame derived to self from unknown loins. But mine. And mine I loved, and mine I praised, and mine I was proud on, mine so much, that I myself was to myself not mine, valuing of her. Why she is fallen into a pit of ink, that the wide sea hath drops too few that may wash her clean again, and salt too little, which may season give her foul, tainted flesh.
Sir, be patient. For my part, I am so attired in wonder, I know not what to say. Oh, on my soul, my cousin is alive.
Lady, were you her bedfellow last night?
No, truly not. Although until last night I have this 12-month been her bedfellow.
Confirmed. Oh, that is stronger maid which was before barred up with ribs of iron. Would the two princes lie, and Claudio lie, who loves her so that speaking of her foulness washed it with tears. Hence from her, let her die.
Hear me a little. For I have only silent been so long, and given way unto this course of fortune, by noting of the lady. I have marked 1,000 blushing apparitions to start into her face. 1,000 innocent shames in angel whiteness beat away those blushes. And in her eye there hath appeared a fire, to burn the errors that these princes hold against her maiden truth. Call me a fool. 'Twas not my reading nor my observations, which with experimental seal doth warrant the tenor of my book. 'Twas not my age, my reverence, calling nor divinity, if this sweet lady lie not guiltless here, under some biting error.
Friar, it cannot be. Thou seest that all the grace that she hath left is that she will not add to her damnation a sin of perjury. She not denies it. Why then seekst thou to cover with excuse that which appears in proper nakedness?
Lady, what man is he you are accusing of?
They know that accuse me, I know none. If I knew more of any man than that which maiden modesty dogs more, and let all my sins lack mercy. Oh, my father, prove you that anything was done yet last night, or that I yesterday conferred with any creature. Refuse me, beat me, torture me to death.
in the princes.
2 of them have the very bent of honor, and their wisdoms be misled in it. The fault of it lies in John the Bastard, whose spirits toil in frame of villains.
I know not. If they speak but truth of her, these hands shall tear her. If they do wrong her honor, the proudest of them shall well hear of it. Time hath not yet so dried this blood of mine, nor age so eat up my invention, nor fortune made such havoc of my means, nor my bad life reft me so much of friends. But they shall find, await in such a kind, both strength of limb and policy of mind, ability in means and choice of friends, to quit me of them through.
Pause a while, and let my counsel sway you in this case. Your daughter here the princess left for dead. Let her a while be secretly kept in, and publish it that she is dead indeed. Maintain a mourning ostentation, and on your family's old monument hang mournful epitaphs, and do all rites that appertain unto a burial.
What shall become of this? What will we do?
Mary, this well carried shall, on her behalf, change slander to remorse. That is some good, but not for that dream I on this strange course, but on this travail look for greater birth. She, dying, as it must be so maintained, upon the instant that she was accused, will be lamented, pitied, and excused of every hero. For it so falls out that what we have, we prize not to the worth whiles we enjoy it, but being lacked and lost, why then we rack the value. Then we find the virtue that possession would not show us whilst it was ours. So will it fare with Claudio. When he shall hear she died upon his words, the idea of her life shall sweetly creep into his study of imagination, and every lovely organ of her life shall come apparelled in more precious habit, more moving, delicate, and full of life, into the eye and prospect of his soul, than when she lived indeed. Then shall he mourn, if ever love had interest in his liver, and wish he had not so accused her. No, though he thought his accusation true. Let this be so, and doubt not but success will fashion the event in better shape than I can lay it down in likelihood. But if all aim but this be levelled false, the supposition of the lady's death will quench the wonder of her infant. And if it sort not well, you may conceal her, as best befits her wounded reputation, in some reclusive and religious life, out of all eyes, tongues, minds, and injuries.
Signor Leonato, let the friar advise you. And though you know my inwardness and love are very much unto the prince and Claudio, by mine honor I will deal in this as secretly and justly as your soul should with your body.
Being that I flow in grief, the smallest twine may lead me.
'Tis well consented. Presently away, for to strange sores strangely they strain the cure. Come, lady, die to live. This wedding day perhaps is but prolonged. Have patience, endure.
Lady Beatrice, have you wept all this while?
Yea, and I will weep a while longer.
I will not desire that.
You have no reason, I do it freely.
Surely I do believe your fair cousin is wrong.
How much might the man deserve of me to right her?
Is there any way to show such friendship?
A very even way, but no such friend.
May a man do it?
It is a man's office, but not yours.
I do love nothing in the world so well as you. Is not that strange?
As strange as the thing I have done. It were as possible for me to say I love nothing so well as you. But believe me not. And yet I lie not. I confess nothing, nor I deny nothing. I am sorry for my cousin.
By my sword, Beatrice, thou lovest me.
Do not swear and eat it.
I will swear by you love me, and I will make him eat it that says I love not you.
Do not eat your word.
Hey, no sauce that can be devised to it. I protest I love thee.
Do not forgive me.
Repent, sweet Beatrice.
You've stayed me in a happy hour. I was able to protest that I loved you.
And do it with all thy heart.
I love you with so much of my heart that what is left to protest?
anything for thee.
Kill Claudia.
Not for the wide world.
You kill me tonight. Farewell.
Harry, good Beatrice!
I am wrong though I am here. There is no love in you. I will go. In faith, I will go.
We'll be friends first.
You dare easier be friends with me than fight with my enemy.
Is Claudio thine enemy?
Is he not approved in the height of villain that would slander, scorn, dishonor my kinswoman? Oh God, that I were a man. What bear her in hand until they come to take hands, and then with public accusation, uncovered slander, unmitigated rancor. Oh God, that I were a man. I would eat his heart in the marketplace.
Harry, bitch!
Tossing the man out of a window of proper saying.
Nay, Beatrice.
Sweet hero, she is wronged, she is slandered, she is undone.
Beatrice.
Princes and counties. Surely a princely testimony, a goodly count good effect, a sweet gallant surely. Oh, that I were a man for his sake, or that I had a friend who would be a man for my sake. But manhood is melted into curtsies, valor into compliments, and men are only turned into tongue and trim ones too. He is now as valiant as Hercules that only tells a lie and swears it. I cannot be a man with wishing, for I would die a woman with grief.
Harry, good Beatrice, by this hand I love thee.
Use it for my love some other way than swearing by it.
Think you in your soul become Claudio hath wronged hero.
Yea, as sure as I have a thought or a soul.
Enough. I am engaged. I will challenge you. I kiss your hand, and so I leave you. By this hand, Claudio shall render me a dear account. As you hear me, so think of me. Go, comfort your cousin. For my part, I will say she is dead. And so farewell.
Is our whole assembly appeared?
Oh, a stool and a cushion for the sexton.
Which be the malefactors?
Mary, that am I, and my partner.
Nay, that's certain. We have the exhibition to examine.
But who are the offenders that are to be accused? Let them come before Master Constable.
Yea, marry, let them come before me. What is your name, friend?
Baracchio.
Oh, pray, write down, Baracchio. Yours, Sirrah?
I'm a gentleman, sir, and my name is Conrad.
Oh, write down, Master Gentleman Conrad. Masters, do you serve God?
Yea, sir, we hope.
Oh, write down that they hope they serve God. And write God first, for God defend. God should go before such villains. Masters, it is proved already that you are a little better than false knaves, and it will go near to be thought so shortly. How answer you for yourselves?
Marry, sir, we say we are none.
Oh, a marvelous, witty fellow, I assure you, but I will go about with him. Well, come you hither, Sirrah, no word in your ear. Sir, I say to you, it is thought that you are false knaves.
Sir, I say to you, we are none.
Stand aside. For God, they are both in a pail. Have you written down that they are none?
Master Constable, you go not the way to examine. You must call forth the watch that are their accusers.
Oh, yea, marry, that's the eftest way. Let the watch come forth. Masters, I charge you in the prince's name. Accuse these men.
This man said, sir, that Don John the prince's brother was a villain.
Well, write down Prince John, a villain. No, why, this is flat perjury to call a prince's brother villain.
Master Constable.
Pray thee, fellow, peace. I do not fight. I look, I promise thee.
What do you have to say else?
Marry, that he had received 1,000 ducats of Don John to accuse the lady hero wrongfully.
Well, flat burglary as ever was committed.
Yea, by mass that it is.
What else, fellows?
And that Count Claudio did mean, upon his words, to disgrace her in front of the whole assembly and not marry her.
Oh, villain, thou wilt be condemned to everlasting redemption for this.
What else?
This is all.
And this is more, masters, than you can deny. Prince John was this morning secretly stolen away. Hero was in this manner accused, in this very manner refused, and upon grief of this sudden died. Master Constable, have these men be bound and brought to Leonato's. I shall go before and show him their examination.
Come, let them be opinioned.
Let them be in the
home. Oh, God's my life! Where's the sexton? Let them write down the prince's officer, Coxcomb, to come bind them. Thou naughty varlet, away!
You are an ass. You are an ass.
Dost thou not suspect my place? Dost thou not suspect my years? Oh, that he were here to write me down an ass. But, masters, remember that I am an ass. Though it be not written down, yet forget not that I am an ass. No, thou villain, thou art full of piety, as shall be proved upon thee by good witness. I am a wise fellow, and which is more, an officer, and which is more, a householder, and which is more, as pretty a piece of flesh as any in Messina. And one that knows the law, go to, and a rich fellow enough, go to, and a fellow that hath had losses, and one that hath 2 gowns and everything handsome about him. Bring him away. Oh, that I had been written down an ass.
If you go on thus, you will kill yourself. And 'tis not wisdom thus to second grief against yourself.
I pray thee, cease thy counsel, which falls upon mine ears, profitless as water in a sieve. Give not me counsel, nor let no comforter like mine ear, but such a one whose wrongs do suit with mine. Bring me a father, that so loved his child, whose joy of her is overwhelmed like mine. And bid him speak of patience. Measure his woe the length and breadth of mine, and let it answer every strain for strain, as such a grief for such, and thus for thus, in every lineament, branch, shape, and form. If such a one will smile and stroke his beard, bid sorrow wag, and cry hem when he should groan, patch grief with proverbs, make misfortune drunk with candle wasters, bring him yet to me, and I of him will gather patience. But there is no such man. For brother, men can counsel and speak comfort to those that wring under the load of sorrow, but tasting that grief which they themselves not feel, their counsel turns to passion. which before would give perceptual medicine to rage, fetter strong madness in a silken thread, charm ache with air and agony with words. No, no. 'Tis all men's office to speak patience to those that ring under the load of sorrow, but no man's virtue nor sufficiency to be so moral when he shall endure the like himself. Therefore give me no counsel. My griefs cry louder than advertisement.
Therein do men from children nothing differ.
I pray thee, peace. I will be flesh and blood, for there was never yet philosopher that could endure the toothache patiently, however they had read the style of gods and made a push at chance and sufferance.
Yet then not all the harm upon yourself. Make those that do offend you suffer too.
There thou speakst reason. Nay, I will do so. My soul doth tell me hero is belied, and that shall Claudio know, so shall the prince, and all those who thus dishonor her.
Here come the prince and Claudio hastily.
Good day to both of you. Hear you, my lords.
We have some haste, Leonardo.
Some haste, my lord. Well, fare you well, my lord. Are you so hasty now? Well, all is one.
Nay, do not quarrel with us, good old man.
If he could right himself with quarreling, some of us would lie low.
Who wrongs him? Marry, thou dost wrong me. Thou dissembler, thou. Nay, never lay thy hand upon thy sword. I fear thee not.
Mary, beshrew my hand, if it should give your age such cause of fear, if faith my hand bend nothing to my sword.
Tush, tush, man, never fleer and jest at me. I speak not like a dotard nor a fool, as under privilege of age to brag what I have done being young, or would do were I not old. No, Claudio, to thy head. Thou hast so wronged my innocent child and me, that I am forced to lay my reverence by, and do, with gray hairs and bruise of many days, challenge thee to trial of a man. I say thou hast wronged my innocent child. Thy slander hath gone through and through her heart, and she now lies buried with her ancestors, oh, in a tomb, where never scandal slept save this of hers, framed by thy villainy.
My villainy.
Thine, Claudio, thine, I say.
You say not right, old man.
My lord, I'll prove it on his body, if he dare. Despite his nice fence and active practice, his May of youth and bloom of lustihood.
Away, I will not have to do with you.
Canst thou so death me? Thou hast killed my child, if thou killst me, boy, thou shalt kill a man.
He shall kill two of us, and men indeed. But that's no matter. Let him kill one first. Win me and wear me. Let him answer me. Come, follow me, boy. Come, sir boy, come follow, so I will whip you from your boiling fence. Nay, as I am a gentleman, I will.
Brother,
content yourself. God knows I love my niece, and she is dead, slandered to death by villains. Who dares will answer a man, indeed as I dare take a serpent by the tongue? Boys, apes, braggarts, jacks, milksops.
Brother Anthony.
Hold you content. What man? I know them, yea, and what they weigh, even to the utmost scruple. Scambling, outpacing, fashion-monging boys that lie and cog and flout the brave and slander. Go antically and show outward hideousness, and speak of half a dozen dangerous words, how they might hurt their enemies if they durst. And this is all.
Brother Anthony.
Tis no matter. Do not you meddle. Let me deal with this.
Gentlemen both, we will not wait your patience. My heart is sorry for your daughter's death, but on my honor, she was charged with nothing but what was true and very full of proof.
My lord, my lord!
I would not hear you!
No. Come, brother, away. I will be heard.
And shall, or some of us will smart for it.
See, here comes the man we went to seek.
Now, senor, what news?
Good day. Welcome, senor. You are almost come to part, almost afraid.
We'd like to have had our two noses snapped off, with two old men without teeth.
Leonardo and his brother. What thinkst thou? Had we fought, I doubt we should have been too young for them. In a false quarrel, there is no true valor.
I came to seek you both. We have been up and down to seek you, for we are high-proof melancholy, would faith have it beaten away. Wilt thou use thy wit? It is a nice scabbard. Shall I draw it?
Dost thou wear thy wit by thy side?
Never any did so, though very many have been beside their wit. I will bid thee draw as will do the minstrels. Draw to pleasure us.
As I am an honest man, he looks pale.
Art thou sick or angry? What? Courage, man. What though care kill the cat? Thou hast mettle enough in thee to kill care.
I will meet your wit and career, and you charge against me. I pray, choose another subject.
Nay, then, give him another staff as last broke cross.
By the slight he changes more and more. I think he'd be angry indeed.
If he be, he knows how to turn his girdle.
Shall I speak a word in your ear?
God bless me for the challenge.
You are forbidden. I jest not. I will meet you when you dare, with what you dare, how you dare. Answer me, or I will protest your cowardice. You have killed a sweet lady, and her death shall fall heavy on you. Come, answer me.
I will meet you. So that I may have good cheer.
What? A feast? A feast?
If faith, I thank him. He hath bid me to a calf's head and a capon, the which if I do not carve most curiously, say my knife's not. Shall I not find a woodcock too?
Sir, your wit ambles well, goes easily.
I'll tell thee how Beatrice praised thy wit the other day. I said thou hadst a fine wit. True, said she, a fine little one. Nay, said I, a great wit. Right, said she, a great gross one. Nay, said I, a good wit. Just, said she, it hurts nobody. Nay, said I, the gentleman is wise. Certain, said she, a wise gentleman. Nay, said I, he hath the tongues. That I believe, said she, for he did swear a thing to me on Monday night, which he forswore on Tuesday morning. There's a double tongue, there's two tongues. Thus did she an hour together trench shape thy particular virtues. Yet at last she concluded with a sign, thou wast the properest man in Italy.
For which she wept heartily and said she cared not.
Yea, that she did. But yet for all that, and if she did not hate him deadly, she would love him dearly. The old man's daughter told us all.
Oh. And moreover, God saw him when he was hid in the garden.
Yea, but when shall we set the savage bull's horns on the sensible Benedict's head?
Yea, and text underneath, here dwells Benedict, the merry man.
You know my mind, boy. Believe you now to your gossip-like humor. You break jests as braggarts do their blades, which God be thanked, hurt not. My lord, for your many courtesies I thank you. I must discontinue your company. Your brother, the bastard, has fled from Messina. You have among you killed the sweet and innocent lady. As for my lord Blackbeard there, he and I shall meet. Until then, please be with him.
He is in earnest.
In most profound earnest, and I warrant you, for the love of Beatrice. And I challenge thee most sincerely.
What a pretty thing man is when he goes in his doublet and hose and leaves off his wit.
He is but then a giant to an ape, then is an ape a doctor to such a man.
But softy, let me be. Pluck up my heart and be sad. Did he not say my brother was fled?
Come you, sir! If justice cannot detain you, she shall ne'er weigh more balance in her wit. Nay, and you be a cursing hypocrite once, you must be looked to.
How now, two of my brothers men bound? Brachia one.
Hearken after their offense, my lord.
Officers, what offense have these men done?
Marry, sir, they have committed false report. Moreover, they have spoken untruths. Secondarily, they are slanderers. Sixth and lastly, they have belied a lady. Thirdly, they have verified unjust things. And to conclude, they are lying knaves.
First, I ask thee what they've done. Thirdly, I ask thee what's their offense. Sixth and lastly, why they're committed. And to conclude, what you lay to their charge.
Rightly reasoned and in his own division, and by my troth, there's one meaning well suited.
Who have you offended, masters, that you are thus bound to your answer? This learned constable's too cunning to be understood. What's your offense?
Sweet princess, we go no farther to mine answer. Do you hear me and let this court kill me? I see even your very eyes. What your wisdoms could not discover, these shallow fools brought to light, who in the night overheard me confess to this man, how Don John incensed me to slander the late hero. How you were brought to the orchard to see me court Margaret in hero's garments. How you disgraced her when you should marry her. My villainy they have upon record, which I had rather repeat from
which I'd rather seal with my death and repeat over to my shame. The lady is dead upon night in my master's false accusations. And briefly, I desire nothing but the reward of a villain.
Was not this speech like iron through your blood? I have drank poison while she uttered it. But did my brother set thee on to this?
Yea, and paid me richly for the practice of it.
He is composed and trained to treachery, and fled he is upon this villainy. Sweet hero, now thy image doth appear in the rare semblance that I loved it first.
Come, bring away the plaintiffs. By this time our sexton hath reformed Signor Leonato of the matter. And, masters, do not forget to specify, when time and place shall serve, that I am an ass.
Here comes Signor Leonato and the sexton too.
Which is the villain? Let me see his eyes. When I note another man like him, I may avoid him.
If you would know your wronger, look on me.
Art thou the slave that with thy breath hast killed mine innocent child?
Yea, even I alone.
No, not so, villain. Thou beliest thyself. Here, send a pair of honorable men. A third is fled, that had a hand in it. I thank you, princes, for my daughter's death. Recorded with your high and worthy deeds, 'twas bravely done, if you but think you of it.
I know not how to pray your patience, yet I must speak. Choose your revenge yourself. Impose me to what penance your invention can lay upon my sin. No sinned I not but in mistaking. By my soul, nor I. And yet to satisfy this good old man, I would bend under any heavy weight that he'll enjoin me to.
I cannot bid you bid my daughter live. It were impossible. But I pray you both, possess the people in Messina here, how innocent she died. And if your love can labor aught in sad invention, hang her an epitaph upon her tomb, and sing it to her bones. Sing it tonight. Tomorrow morning come you to my house, and since you could not be my son-in-law, be yet my nephew. My brother hath a daughter, almost a copy of my child that's dead, and she alone is heir to both of us. Give her the right you should have given her cousin, and so dies my revenge.
Noble sir, your overkindness doth conviction me. I do embrace your offer and dispose for henceforth a poor clotting.
Tomorrow, then, I will expect your coming. Tonight I take my leave. This naughty man shall face to face be brought to Margaret, who I believe was packed in all this wrong, hired to it by your brother.
No, by my soul she was not, nor knew not what she did when she spoke to me, but always hath been just and virtuous in anything that I do know by her.
Moreover, sir, which indeed is not under white and black, this plaintiff here, the offender, did call me an ass. I beseech you, let it be remembered in his punishment. And also the watch heard them talk of one deformed. They say he wears a key in his ear and a lock hanging by it, and hath borrowed money in God's name, the which he hath used so long and never paid, that now men grow hard-hearted and will lend nothing for God's sake. Pray you, examine him upon that point.
I thank thee for thy care and honest pains.
Your worship speaks like a most thankful and reverent youth, and I praise God for you.
There's for thy pains.
God save the foundation.
Go, I discharge thee of thy prisoner.
I leave an errant knave with your worship, the which I beseech your worship to correct yourself for the example of others. God keep your worship. I wish your worship well. God restore you to health. I humbly give you leave to depart, and if a merry meeting may be wished, God prohibit it. Come, neighbor.
Until tomorrow morning, lords, farewell.
Farewell, my lords. We look for you tomorrow.
We will not fail. Tonight I'll mourn with hero.
From you these fellows on. We'll talk with Margaret. Our acquaintance grew with this removed fellow.
Sweet Mistress Margaret, I deserve well at my hands by helping me to the speech of Beatrice.
Will you then write me a sonnet in praise of my beauty?
In so high a style that no man living shall come over it. For in most holy truth thou deservest it.
To have no man come over me? Why, shall I always keep it upstairs?
Thy wit is as quick as the greyhound's mouth. It catches.
And yours is blunt as the fencer's spoils, which hit but hurt not.
Most gentlemanly wit, Margaret, will not hurt a lady. But I give thee the bucklers.
Give us the swords, for we have bucklers of our own.
And thou wilt use them. Thou must put the pikes for the vice, for they're dangerous weapons for maids.
Well, I will call Beatrice, who I think hath legs.
And therefore will come.
Oh God of love that sits above and knows me, how pitiful I deserve.
I mean in singing. But in loving, Troilus the first swimmer and Leander the first employer of Panthers, and however many other quondam carpetmongers whose names do run smoothly into the road of a blank verse, why, they were never turned over and over as much as I. Mary, I cannot show it in rhyme. I've tried. I can find no rhyme for lady, but baby, an innocent rhyme. For scorn, horn, a hard rhyme. And for school, fool, babbling rhyme. Such ominous endings. No, I was not born under a rhyming planet, nor I cannot woo in festival terms. My lady Beatrice, wouldst thou come when I called thee?
Yea, senor, and depart when you bid me.
Oh, stay but till then.
That is spoken. Very well then. Yet, ere I go, you know that I came, which is knowing what passed between you and Claudia.
Only foul words. And thereupon I will kiss thee.
Foul words is but foul wind, and foul wind is but foul breath, and foul breath is noisome. Therefore I shall depart unkissed.
Thou hast righted the word right out of its sense, so forcible is thy wit. But I must tell thee truly, Claudio undergoes my challenge, and either I will presently hear from him, or I will subscribe from the coward. Now, tell me, for which of my bad parts didst thou first fall in love with me?
For them all together, which we attain so politic a state of evil, they will not permit one good part to intermingle with them. But for which of my good parts did you first suffer love for me?
Suffer love? A good epithet. Why, I do suffer love indeed, for I love thee against my will.
In spite of your heart, I think. Alas, poor heart, if you spite it for my sake, I will spite it for yours, for I can never love that which my friend hates.
Thou and I are too wise to move peaceably.
It appears not in this confession. There's not one wise man among 20 that will praise himself.
An old instance, Beatrice, that lived in the time of good neighbors. If a man does not erect in this age his own monument ere he dies, he lives no longer than the bell rings and the widow weeps.
And how long is that, think you?
A question. An hour in clamor and a quarter in room. And therefore it is most expedient for the wise, if Don Worm his conscience has no impediment to the contrary, to be the trumpet of his own praises, as I am for myself, who I myself dare say am praiseworthy. But tell me truly, how doth thy cousin?
Very ill.
And how do you?
Very ill, too.
Serve God, love me meant, and there I depart. Everyone comes in haste.
Oh! Madam, you must come to your uncle. Yonder sold coil at home. It is proved my lady hero hath been falsely accused. The Prince and Claudio mightily abused, and Don John is the author of all. Who is fled and gone? Oh, will you come presently?
Will you hear this news, senor?
I will live in thy heart, die in thy lap, and be buried in thine eyes. And presently I will go and be in thine arms.
monument to Cleonata?
It is, my lord.
Done to death by slanderous tongues was the hero that here lies. Death, in guerdon of her wrongs, gives her fame which never dies. So the life that died with shame lives in death with glorious fame. Hang down, there upon the tomb, praising her many songs. Now music, sound, and sing your solemn hymn.
Goddess of the night, those that stood by Virgin night, for the winds of ages, songs of love crown, midnight, assist our mourn, help us to sigh and and heal your dead, till death be uttered. Heavenly,
Now, unto thy bones good night. Yearly will I do this right.
Good morrow, masters. Put your torches out. The wolves have preyed, and look, the gentle day before the wheels of Phoebus, round about dapples the drowsy east with spots of gray. Thanks you all, and leave us. Fare you well.
Good morrow, masters. Each a several way.
Come, let us hence and put on other weeds, and then to Leonato's we will go.
And Hymen now, with luckier issue speeds, than this for whom we rendered up this woe.
Did I not tell you she was innocent? So are the Prince and Claudio who accused her upon the air you heard debated. But Margaret was in some fault for this, although against her will, as has appeared in the true course of all the question.
Well, I'm glad all things turned out so well.
So I, being else by faith and force, to call young Claudio to a reckoning for it.
Well, daughter, and you gentlewomen all, withdrawn to a chamber by yourselves, and when I send for you, come hither masked. The Prince and Claudio promised by this hour to visit me. Brother, you know your office. You must be father to your brother's daughter and give her to young Claudio.
Which I will do with confirmed countenance.
Friar, I must entreat your pains, I think.
To do what, senor?
To bind me, or undo me, one of those. Good senor, the truth it is, your niece regards me with an eye of favor.
That I my daughter lent her, 'tis most true.
And I do, then I am loved requite her.
The sight whereof I think you had from me from the prince and Claudio. But what's your will?
My answer, sir, is enigmatical. But for my will is your good will to go with ours to be conjoined this day in the state of lawful marriage. For which, dear friar, I do desire thy help.
My heart is with your liking.
And my help. Here come the Prince and Claudio. Good morrow to this fair assembly.
Good morrow, Prince. Good morrow, Claudio. Are you yet determined today to marry with my brother's daughter?
I will hold my mind.
Call her forth, brother. Here's the friar ready.
Good morrow, Benedict. Why, what's the matter that you have such a February face, so full of frost, of storm, and cloudiness?
I think he thinks upon the savage bull. Tush, fear not, man. We'll tip thy horns with gold, and all Europa shall rejoice in thee, as once Europa did at lusty Joe when he would play the noble beast in love.
The savage bull, sir, had an amiable love. And some such strange bull left your father's town, had a calf in that same noble feat. Most like to you, for you have just as bleed.
For this I owe you. Here comes other regiment. Which is the lady I must seize upon?
The same machine, I do give you her.
Then she is mine. Sweet, let me see your face.
No, that you shall not, until you take her hand before this friar and swear to marry her.
Give me your hand before this holy throne. I am your husband if you like me.
And when I lived, I was your only wife. And when you loved, you were my other husband.
Another hero?
Nothing certainer. One hero died to child, but I do live, and surely as I live, I am a maiden.
The former hero! Hero that is dead!
She died, my lord, but whilst your slander lived.
All this amazement can I qualify, when after that, the holy rites are ended. I'll tell you largely of fair hero's death. Meantime, let wonder seem familiar. Into the chapel let us presently. Stop, fair friar! Which is Beatrice?
I answer to that name. What is your will?
Do not you love me?
Why, no more the reason.
Why then, your uncle and the Prince Claudio have been deceived. They swore you did.
Do not you love me?
Troth, no more than reason.
Well, then my cousin, Margaret and Ursula, are much deceived, for they did swear you did.
They swore you were almost sick for me.
They swore you were well nigh dead for me.
'Tis no such matter. Then you do not love me.
No, truly, but in friendly recompense.
Oh, come, cousin, I'm certain you love the gentleman.
And I'll be sworn upon it that he loves her. For here I have a letter, written in his own hand. A halting sonnet of his own brain fashioned to Beatrice.
And here is another.
No,
written her affection of you, Benedict.
A miracle! Here's our own hands against our hearts. Come, I will have thee, but by this light I do take thee for pity.
I would not deny you, but by this good day I yield upon great persuasion, and partly to save your life, for I was told you were in a consumption.
Peace. I will stop your mouth.
How dost thou, Benedict, the married man?
I'll tell thee what, Prince. A college of witcrackers cannot flout me out of my humor. Does that think I care for a sonnet or an epigram? No. Now, if a man will be beaten with brains, he will wear nothing handsome about him. And as I do purpose to marry, I will hear nothing that the world can say against it. And therefore do not flout at me for what I have said against it. For man is a giddy thing, and this is my conclusion. For thy part, Claudio, I did think to have beaten me, but in that thou art like to be my cousin, live in peace and love my cousin.
I would have hoped thou wouldst have denied Beatrice, that I may have cudgelled thee at thy single life, to make thee a double dealer, which out of question thou wilt be, if my cousin do not look exceeding narrowly to thee.
Come, we're friends. Let's have a dance ere we are married.
Yeah.
To light their hearts and their wives' heels.
We'll have dancing afterward.
First, of my word. Oh, Prince, thou art sad. Get thee a wife, get thee a wife. There's no staff more reverend than one tipped with horn.
My lord, Brother John is tamed in flight, brought John's men back to Messina.
I think not on him until tomorrow. I'll devise thee brave punishments for him. Strike up, pipers!